Introducing the JK Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the JK Podcast. We are here, episode 20. It's been a little while, but we are back, and I'm here with Andrew, who is a content creator and pretty big into the fitness scene. Andrew, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's a pleasure to talk with you, man. I seen a lot of your videos, and it's interesting because there's a lot of them that are in different kind of scenes and different kind of moods in a way. There was one that I watched recently which I really liked, which was you kind of explaining that you weren't waking up early anymore to go run, and you were kind of holding back a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I have that all the time where I'll be like kind of holding myself back in a way, or kind of telling myself, oh, it's okay, you don't have to do that. Walk us through, like, what was kind of that mindset like?
Well, it was about back in 2021 in the summer when I decided to start running every morning. The main reason for this is just because I'm so bad at it, honestly, and it's one thing that I just hate doing it the most. Um, I mean, now, like, since David Goggins has become a lot more mainstream, since that's what people are kind of according to what I've been doing to that, but in a way it was inspired, and I figured that all these guys that seem like they have great emotional control, they have great ambition, they have great mindset, it all stems from running and doing things that really just make them uncomfortable on a consistent basis. So doing that back in 2021, obviously my goal was to basically do it every single day, nonstop, just like keep it going even on days when you don't feel like it. But obviously you're going to hit those times when it just sucks, man. Maybe it's too cold suddenly, maybe the week's too long and you start missing some days and you start making excuses for why you missed those days,
Yeah.
even though you told yourself you wouldn't when you started, right? So it's kind of just like keeping promises to yourself, doing what you say you'll do. And I think most importantly, really just bouncing back from, breaking those promises to yourself, which was that video that you saw was referring to when I actually stopped for a period of time because I mean, life was just, going crazy, but when is it not going crazy?
Hmm.
So it's about holding myself accountable and really just being transparent with it and letting the guys who are watching my stuff know that I'm not perfect. I'm not hitting every single day, but it's still my intention to try my best to do it. You're always getting back up regardless. It's not about the perfect story. It's about really finding perfection in imperfection.
Hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people, and I've talked about this before, and a lot of people see people that are like David Goggins and all these people, and they put these people on a pedestal, this highest ranking, and they'll be like, this person is perfect. They never miss a day, they never fail, and that's totally not true. Every single person that has is up there, that's on their path to success, is facing challenges every single day. And it's a common thing because mistakes and failures happen, and people think that, it's a very common misconception that people think that doesn't happen. It does, like, very often.
All the time, man, all the time. Yeah, I mean, even if you've read any of his books or any books or autobiographies of anyone who you look up to, it all comes down from, failing consistently, probably more so than most people have because, the more you put yourself out there, the more you need to expect it. So if you're not, um, can I swear?
Yes, oh, of course.
Okay, yeah, no, I just want to make sure, man. It comes out of me just naturally like that. I
Mhm.
didn't want to mess up any of
No,
your
you're all
stuff,
good.
but
You're all good.
if you're not fucking up all the time, man, you're not doing enough. I
Exactly.
think that's what it comes down to because everything we're doing, sure, it's a numbers game, right? So if you're not failing enough, there's no perfect person. I think it just means you're not putting yourself out in there enough. You're not challenging yourself enough to the point that you would be failing and you would be falling on your fucking face, man.
Hmm.
But I always like to say, at least you're falling forward, right? Versus falling back on your ass by not doing anything at all. So
Hmm.
even though you're failing, it's still step by step. You're still moving in the right direction. What counts the most? It's the vision.
Hmm. Yeah, failures is what creates the person that you want to be. And I've went through many different failures, many different challenges. But something I've realized is that, like, a lot of people will go through those challenges and be like, "Damn, I may never recover from this." Most of the challenges and most of the failures and most of the mistakes that you go through, you come back from them. You don't just fall and stay there. You get back up most of the time. And, like, it's very hard not to. With yourself, you face these challenges that you're talking about in your videos as well. And a lot of people want, like really really good a physique and really good fitness. Dude, you're huge, and you've went through these challenges and these obstacles, and you've turned out fine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, like I think anything worth having, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of just what we've been talking about, getting back up after failing and after just really just expecting that it's going to be difficult. And I think that's one of the most important mindsets to have when you're going into any challenge is that you need to expect to fail.
Hmm.
You need to expect to come up short in some shape or form, whether you're missing a few days here and there, but you need to expect the fact that it's going to be difficult and it's not going to be a perfect journey. Like I said before, if it's perfect, it just means it's not challenging enough to you. And, everything worth doing, I think it should be challenging, honestly. Every goal worth doing, at least.
Hmm.
So if you expect adversity, which you should, then I think you're already on the right way and you're on the right path because it means that the bar is set high enough for you to work towards something worth having. So you see how these things all go hand in hand at this point.
Hmm.
It's like it's guaranteed. It's almost like guarantee yourself to fail in some shape or form. Not You can't be so afraid of it, and you can't be dissuaded from it, from not trying to go for anything, man. Whether it is going for a long running streak, or whether it is building a physique you want, or trying some other sport, or trying to go for even any educational program or any goal you're trying to go for. You need to expect to mess up, man. Once you had that expectation too, you're not going to be so hard on yourself about it in your mind. Sure, you're not going to cater to just take it easy all the time, but when a lot of people, when they failed, they just shut down.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as a perfect journey. And once you really ingrain that into your mind that it's never going to be perfect, there's no perfect time to start anything, there's no perfect road towards anything worth having, then in a weird way it gets easier because it takes that all that extra stress off your body and off your mind, knowing that I'm human at the end of the day. Everyone's human, like you said, idols, big guys like David Goggins. Yeah, you can just keep rattling them off. Cam Hanes, Joe Rogan, anyone else. I'm sure they've met more adversity than the average person has in their life, which is kind of ironic, right?
Yeah.
So a cushion life leads to nothing really, and that's all relative, of course. But challenge yourself, man. Don't be afraid to fail. Expect it, honestly.
Hmm.
Seek it. Actually,
Hmm.
that's where you learn the most. It really is.
Do you think a lot of people that like will start off on like self-improvement, for example, do you think they face more challenges starting than later on?
I would say so. Yeah. Um, Honestly, it might be a balance between starting and sticking to it. Starting is definitely starting is a beast, man.
Yeah.
Like knowing exactly. First of all, I don't think anyone knows exactly what they want when they first start. They have an idea of it, and then once you start going along, you start to realize, oh, maybe this is what I want. Maybe it's a little different than what I thought initially, and it's not a cope. A lot of times, I think it's a good thing because you find out more about yourself when you start. But objects in motion have to start by getting into motion, right? So it's
Yeah.
the only way to figure that out initially. If you can get past that mental fear and road bump of starting, and once again, this circles back to what I was talking about before about, not starting something because you're afraid you'll come up short, because you're afraid of, the mental internal pain of failing, of feeling like you're not going to be able to do it, you're not worth anything, the accomplishment is independent of yourself. Um, I can see how that could be really stagnating. But
Hmm.
also being consistent with it is a whole different battle on its own also. So I'd have to say it depends on the person really. Um, really just start and don't think too much about it. And that's the best piece of advice I can say. Don't
Hmm.
wait for the perfect piece of content. Just, pump it out. Go for that first run. If you can't even run a mile, do as much as you can and just walk it. Walk less and less each time and just you got to start somewhere, man. You can't start perfect because
Hmm.
if you're trying to start perfect, then in a way, what are you even working towards if you're going to be perfect,
Yeah.
right? What are you achieving if you're already perfect?
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true. And I've realized that, this is something for me as well, is that most people that start off, trying to improve on themselves or maybe trying to learn a new skill, it always kind of starts off with this motivation. And that motivation can help you a ton. Sure, it can get you started. It can motivate you to be like, all right, I need to change some stuff. I need to fix some stuff in my life right now. So that motivation can really help people kind of figure out what they kind of want to do, what they kind of want to pursue, help them set up goals, help them set up a routine, etc. But, you know, as you were saying, kind of building a consistent and kind of a disciplined mindset going with that, That's the hardest part, because that first step when you get in with motivation, it's hard. It's very difficult because you're new. And I always say this all the time because I see many people worried about going to the gym because they're scared about what people will look at them or will look at them and say, oh, this person's not doing much. But when you start off in the gym, if you're only lifting the bar, that's all you can do, that's a start. Because eventually you're going to keep doing that and you're going to start lifting heavier weights and heavier weights. And it goes from there. It just takes a ton of progress, a ton of failures, a ton of mistakes.
I couldn't agree more. I think an interesting way of looking at it too is if you can only do the bar initially, but you want to get stronger, you want to, develop a body that you're proud of looking in the mirror every single day, something that I built with my two hands, man. First of all, that's a high that's incomparable. It's quite exhilarating, honestly, just because, and that applies to anything, knowing that you put in the work and you saw the results, fitness outside of fitness. But if you want to get stronger, and the whole point of going to the gym is to get stronger, right? But you're afraid of going because you're afraid of people judging you for only being able to bench the bar. Another way of looking at all this is that that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
It's the only way through. You're not going to get stronger by not training with the bar first. So if you're going to avoid the basic because you're afraid that people are going to judge you for that, how are you ever going to get past the basic? Right? You have to put yourself through that uncomfortable situation, as difficult as it may seem, because I know it can be a serious beast to think about. Like even just running around your neighborhood, man, if you're running for like a block and you got to walk, it's like there's so many things we can tell ourselves, but the only way to run 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks without stopping is to do that first one first. So it's like if you want to get good at something, the only way to do it is to fail first.
Hmm.
You can't, not showing up is never going to give you enough power or some kind of secret shortcut to suddenly skip from level 1 to level 5.
Yeah.
You have to get through that point regardless. So why wait?
Hmm.
Better to start now, right? And
Yeah.
you know, you wait 5 months and you start thinking, if I started 5 months ago, like when I told myself I'd start 5 months ago, imagine where I'd be right now. Except I waited 5 months and now I have to start now, and I play catch up. It's not worth it. I don't think it's worth it.
Hmm. I had a conversation with a friend recently, and it's pretty funny because we were talking about how people will start going to the gym or starting a business or starting to develop a new skill, and they instantly expect results so fast, and it doesn't work like that. Like someone will go to the gym for the first time, and in the first week or two, they'll expect to be massive by then, or to see incredible gains or anything, or expect to start lifting heavier and heavier weights. It doesn't take it doesn't just happen instantly. And a lot of people think that, and I really don't. It's a kind of a mix of everything, because you'll see social media and you'll see all these people and be like, damn, they must have got that like so easily, or how did they get that so fast or whatever. But it's really not. It's a grueling process, and it's very difficult to go through it. And it just takes a ton of consistency. And most of the people you see, you know, didn't just fall there. They didn't just get there. They didn't spawn in and just have everything they ever wanted. It takes effort to get there. It's really crazy to see how many people expect results that fast.
It really is, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure social media has a huge part in all of that, just because it's a highlight reel, right? And
Yeah.
few people really
Yeah.
post things about, like, them in the shit, them failing, them not being where they want to be. You just see, like, oh, suddenly I started here, and then after, oh, here's the next picture. I'm always getting better. I'm always getting better. And everyone's thinking, how's he doing that, man?
Hmm.
Like you said, did this guy just spawn in and just, was he born this way? Is it just a genetic thing? But that's kind of why I think the whole fitness scene, the whole lifting scene, it's one of the best metaphors and lessons for self improvement all around. Because, like you were saying, the delayed gratification is really what makes everything worthwhile.
Mm.
So everything that takes time, the whole reason why it's worth something is because it took a lot of time and patience, right? And what teaches you more time and patience than starting out in the gym for the first time and putting your body just through hell, like through shit, man. Sure, if you're just benching a bar first, that's a relative help, you know.
Hmm.
Everyone, when you get stronger, the weights go up, but the suffering is still the same if you're pushing yourself,
Hmm.
if you're relatively pushing yourself. and you do that for days and weeks and sometimes months on end, and you're not rewarded with anything. You see small changes here and there. The scale goes up sometimes, the scale goes down sometimes you're wondering if this is even making sense, if you're doing the right thing or not. And most of the times you are. It just takes a long time to do that. So to put in that much effort and to just go through that much relative mental perseverance, if the gym is new to you and you've never been physically active before, with just the hope and the opportunity that you may look different 6, 12 months down the line without seeing anything along the way, man. If you can do that, you can do anything.
Hmm.
You can be patient enough to do anything, studying, any other kind of side hustle that you may be working for. If you can be that patient, man, that you can learn that patience from the gym, from bodybuilding, and just changing your body, anyone. It's just, dude, that is the skill that is it's instinct and it can't be extinguished, and it rolls over to everything else in your life, and that's
Oh yeah.
that's really what I'm mostly dedicating my entire page to. It's just that message, man. It's working out, but it's not just working out. You can't
Yeah.
see it as just that. If you see something as just a means to an end, then everything will always be just a means to an end. It's how
Hmm.
you frame it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I totally agree. There's many things that you do and many things that you work towards will contribute to many other things as well that you're passionate with. And, that's why I recommend a lot of people start off going to the gym because it builds a ton of strength, it builds consistency, discipline, and that will lead to many other factors of your life. Because then, if you're interested in starting a business or getting promotion, then you're going to work harder because you're building that discipline, that consistency from another factor. So, people that start off with in the gym and start, working towards that, they start to see other aspects of their life grow, and it's like it's really, really cool to see because a lot of people that are in that scene will continue to grow in many aspects. So it's very important. But I think I was interested because looking at your page, you've gotten a higher following and you're absolutely massive. And I want to know like what kind of started it for you? What made you want to become that person?
Are you talking about the what made me want to do the content creation first, or just kind of
Just in
everything?
general, everything in general, pretty much.
I mean, I came from a swimming background, man. That was the pretty much the one and only sport I ever played. I was pretty trash at it, honestly, but I was consistent. I did it for a long time, and when you're younger, and also when you're going through puberty and whatnot, your body changes and you start building a little more muscle through any kind of physical activity. So when I was younger, around 14, 15, I really liked the physical results I got from swimming, and that really prompted me to go into the gym to try it out because I was thinking, okay, what if I could take this to the next level? Which is funny because I mean, what level are you really at like
Mm,
14, 15, right?
yeah.
Um, and hey, maybe this is something I could actually be good at, something that I actually like doing versus just something I feel like doing because I felt like I had to do a sport. Um, I mean, dude, the gym is just everything can be addicting, if you give it enough value. So I just kept hitting that over and over, man. And like what we were talking about, I really saw the benefits of that. I saw what it did to my confidence. I saw what that really did to my mindset overall and how it made me feel about myself. One, when I looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm not like stroking myself off with any of this shit either. I'm just like I'm seeing myself and I'm thinking, I can't believe I made this change just by showing up all the time.
Hmm.
And it wasn't too hard for me personally because most of it was really enjoyable. I really enjoyed seeing doing the progress, or seeing progress and seeing how far I could go with this, and just knowing that I get exactly I get out exactly what I'm putting in. If I'm showing up to the gym, I'm pushing myself. I know the results are going to come because the effort's there. The effort in the right direction is there. And I kept thinking, oh, hey, this can apply to really anything else in my life. So I really just took it to social media and I just wanted to spread the good word, honestly, because it changed my life. And there are a lot of ways that people can come to realizations of feeling better for themselves and feeling like their work isn't meaningless. It doesn't have to come from the gym. I think this is one of the biggest gateway drugs to just, something that could be really good.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. And there's a lot of people out there that need this message because there's a lot of people that are out there that are living, and this is relatable to me, just living day by day, not really just kind of roaming the earth and not really having any like passions or any kind of thought, pretty much. And it's difficult because in that mindset, in that place, you don't really know where you are. You don't really know where you're going to. You don't know your future. This is why this message is so important, because these messages can help people start to open a whole new vision, and they'll see all this new stuff that they can pursue. And that is the most important thing. That's why I love, content creation and this kind of content, because I start to see people who are changing their lives for good. And the funniest thing about it is because a lot of people will come from, like scrolling social media and instant gratification, and when they go into other things that are good habits for them, they're happier. They're happier because they're working for that gratification. They're working for that effort. They're always happier than what they used to be.
It's very true.
Mm.
No, I mean, yeah, like I can go all day about delayed gratification, man. It's one of those things that when you don't see results, when you aren't rewarded instantly, or even on a semi-frequent basis, but you still just have to keep going, keep going, keep going. Um, you feel invincible because you feel like if you can be consistent without any pats on the back,
Mm.
um, then it's really about what you believe in, right? And I think a lot of that's really just a testament to how long can you really stick to something you believe in without seeing results? Because very rarely are you always getting those pats in the back,
Yeah.
and it's a testament to like how hard are you willing to work for what you believe in? How hard just how well are you going to be able to stick on the path to it? Because a lot of times it can feel very, very hopeless, and sometimes it feels like it doesn't make sense, especially when you don't see anything. You see nothing. Sometimes you go backwards, man. You know,
Mm.
but if you believe in the cause and your personal cause strongly enough, it's always worth it. It's always worth it, and you have to expect all of that. Um, I mean, I think that's what really builds your character the most too. It's one of those interesting things because when you feel like you're in the rut, you're thinking, I wouldn't wish this upon anyone. But every time you get out of it, you're so happy that you were there because you learn so much about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you learn so much about how you personally, as an individual, are able to persevere in that situation. If I did this now, what else can I do? You know, and you just start feeling unstoppable, honestly, in all aspects of your life. So it starts in the gym, it could bleed into work, your relationships, and it's just fuck, man. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just continues to make a path, and it just continues to lead to new things and new experiences. And yeah, something you touch base on was, kind of getting the recognition of others. And it's difficult because a lot of people expect that kind of recognition when they're going through what they're going through, because it takes a very long time for that reward to come. Like if you're doing content for the first time, I've recently started doing some content on the other side, and I knew that it's going to be a struggle. I knew that I'm not going to get a million followers in 2 days. It doesn't happen. I wish it would, because that would be great. But still, it takes a long time. It takes a ton of effort. It takes a ton of challenges, a ton of struggles, a ton of obstacles to go through. And a lot of people, the majority of the people stop because there's too much of that. But through all those challenges, through all those obstacles, through all of that, that's where the reward is. That's where you want to be. And most people stop. Most people can't make it there because it's just challenge after challenge after challenge, and it just continues to happen, and it continues to go through. But if you continue to go through it, if you go through it consistently, you're going to make it. You're going to be happy regardless.
Always expect the worst. Always
Mhm.
expect more challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you might get there a little more easily than you thought, but if you're always expecting that it's going to be the hardest thing you're ever going to do, then you'll never be surprised,
Mhm.
by how
Yeah.
hard it actually is. I think you and I, we both know how difficult the social media thing can be
Mm.
because sometimes you feel like, oh, this might be the video, this might be the video, this might be the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
It isn't, and it's like it's something that's kind of always in your mind because you have to keep planning, you have to keep making the next move. You're always thinking about it in a way. If you really want to be serious, if you want anything to be serious, you have to treat it as seriously as if, it's already paying your bills.
Yeah.
and in hopes that one day, hey, it might, or maybe that's not even the most important thing. Maybe it's about the impact and the message, right? Everyone's goals are a little bit different. It never really ever gets harder than expecting the worst. I do want to ask you a question, man. 2 million subscribers overnight. Do you really think that would be nice?
Okay,
From
because if
just
you look,
starting out.
oh
From
yeah,
just starting out.
well, I think it would be a mess first off because you want to know what the hell is going on, but still, I mean, if to someone that really wants that goal immediately, because everyone wants, everyone if they can click a button to get rich right now, they would. 99% of the people would. But, they wouldn't know the challenges, the obstacles to go through. They wouldn't know how to manage it because they didn't go through those challenges and obstacles. So, not necessarily, but, it'd be cool to have, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of both. It's a double-edged sword in a way.
100%, man. Um, yeah, I mean, it's like people that I mean, shoot, there's a new movie on Netflix right now that I just watched. You win the lottery and you suddenly have all this money with you. If you didn't earn it, if you didn't know how to manage it, easy come, easy go. It goes as
Yep.
quickly as it came,
Hmm.
because you don't really know what to do with it. And it's the same thing about, people that are trying to find all the shortcuts to getting their fitness in check, to getting the bodies that they want.
Hmm.
If you don't really know what it really took to build that, if you just somehow just spawned into someone else's body, someone
Hmm.
who's in great shape, you're going to lose that as quickly as you got it too, because you don't know how to upkeep it,
Yeah.
right? Same like what you said with the 2 million or however million subscribers and a huge audience. If you I really firmly believe that if you didn't build that, and if you didn't go through the trial and tribulations to get to that, you're not going to know how to manage it either.
Yeah.
And the more important thing also is, if it just came into your lap, I don't believe that you'll be ready to manage it either.
Hmm.
I think you need to go through the shit. I think you need to go through the gutter of everything. And this is all relative, of course, because there are actual people who are going through things that are a lot harder. But
Hmm.
this is something that you're really working towards, and you're constantly struggling, man. I think I think the reward comes to you when you're truly ready to accept it. And if it takes a year, if it takes 5 years, if it takes 10 years, hey, at least you know for sure that I'm ready for this, because it took this long. I don't think anything takes as long as it does without any meaning.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason.
Oh
So
yeah.
when you do get it down the line, hey, maybe I'm finally getting it now because I'm finally ready of it. I'm finally feeling deserving of it. I finally do deserve it. It's one of those things, easy come, easy go. But if you work it and you know how to maintain it and you keep at it, the character that you build through that journey is the character and the person who will be able to maintain it.
Mm.
I don't think that person exists unless you build that person first.
Oh yeah. Totally. Yeah, that's totally true. It's you kind of have to go through those experiences first. And there's a saying I've heard many times, and it's I may butcher it, but I'm trying to remember exactly. It's that, many people will have this passion and they want this goal, but never change kind of your plan or gosh, okay, hold up. Never change the goal, but if you need to change the plan, pretty much, because you're going to have these challenges, you're going to have these obstacles, and if you need to kind of reroute things, that's fine, but never ever change the goal, because that goal is something you're passionate about, that goal is something you want to work towards, and there's going to be stuff in the way, and if you can kind of reroute it through and kind of go through those obstacles, and kind of it's kind of like a river just going up and going through the barriers and such, but it's going towards something, and that's the most important part.
Yeah, it really is. And if we're speaking on passion specifically, I think a lot of it is really, it comes down to, as cliche as it sounds, enjoying the journey and
Yeah.
really being happy with what you're doing.
Hmm.
I love making the videos I do. Obviously everyone loves to see their work perform well, but I really do genuinely enjoy, putting it all together, making the cuts, doing the captions, the music. It's a kind of like a little emotional thing, like,
Yeah.
hey, this is cool. You're very passionate about that. And I think the only reason why I've been able to do it for so long is um, because I actually enjoy doing it,
Yeah.
versus just banking all of my happiness on performance, on results all the time. It's like there was this clip I saw on YouTube the other day. It was about I think it was about two guys talking about passion for making movies,
Mm.
making amateur film studios making movies. And these guys who have these passion, they were describing, they knew this guy who said he had a passion for it. It seemed like they only had the passion for the expensive camera, the film
Mm,
crew, all the showbiz aspects of it, if they were wait because they were waiting for all of that to create the perfect movie, to create the perfect video. Otherwise, man, they would have already been pumping things out on their iPhone.
yeah.
If you really enjoyed the process of filmmaking and not just the adulation, the rewards that come with it, you'll find any way to do it first, man. I
Yeah.
mean, before I figured out how to do captions, which really isn't hard at all, I was doing the Instagram built-in ones, and before that, I didn't have them at all. It's just like I really just like doing everything with the iPhone. Still, I think it keeps things grounded, and it keeps things relatable to yourself when you first started doing it, and it's kind of an energy that transfers over about why did I get into this in the first place?
Mhm.
What is it about this that really matters the most to me? Is it about the glitz and glam of it, or is it about the message? Is it about the emotion? Is it about the potential impact that it could create?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think you got to enjoy it, man. You
Oh
have to
yeah.
enjoy it with everything.
Yeah, and if you're following a passion of yours, the work that you do isn't even work. It's just fun. It's like a project of yours. You're it's like a child that you're taking care of, and it helps because if you're following a passion of yours, you're never going to feel like it's necessarily like work, like it's a 9 to 5 or something, or like it's something that you're doing for a boss. You're doing it because you love to do it, and you're doing it for yourself. And like you mentioned with those people, they got more obsessed with kind of the red carpet kind of idea of things, and the recognition part of it, and just kind of the high materials and the expensive equipment and stuff. You know, at the end of the day, that passion is not because of that. It's because of what you love to do. Just the main idea of it, and not just everything that's around it. Because there's this guy that I watch, and he said that the camera, the expensive camera, the book that you may read, and all this other stuff, sure, it helps you, but the person that gets you there is you, and you're the person that can only use that stuff, and that's what's gonna get you there.
Yeah, no, very true, man. Everything else is just an accessory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like with training and everything, also with working out, it's all the supplements. It's like, like everyone just starts lifting. Oh, like should I get on creatine? Should I do this? Should I do that? And the diet is complete crap. The training is so inconsistent. Everything is off. Don't think about everything extra.
Hmm.
Focus on the foundation first. Focus on getting your diet straight first. Focus on getting your training consistent and everything straight first before even thinking about anything extra.
Hmm.
And there's like a whole science to that, obviously, but I think the bigger part of this conversation is really the metaphor of that. Ground your foundation first. Ground your belief first. Ground your purpose first. And anything you're doing. Why am I doing this? Am I happy doing this? Whatever you believe in, if that's grounded first, man, it's like the house that's built on stone versus the house that's built on sand that'll wash away with the next shiny object coming around because you have no core value for
Hmm.
what you're going for. The foundation is key. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing with that is, many people will just jump into it expecting, just going into it so fast without setting that foundation. Because I talked with a person that we had on, Jordan Ferrone. He'll do these ice baths like every single day in Canada, and you know he was talking with me, and he said that you shouldn't just jump in immediately. You shouldn't just start. Okay, guess I'm gonna do ice baths now. Immediately, boom. When you get put in that immediately, you're not ready for it. Your body's not ready for it. Your mindset's not ready for it. So it takes a foundation, and then it takes the steps to get up there. And people have to kind of realize that. Go through it with a process, and don't just jump to the very highest level and expect that to happen. You know, there's another thing. I have some crazy ideas in my mind that happen all the time, and I was like, what if I try to break the plank world record for the hell of it? Just why not? I looked it up.
Yeah.
I researched it a little bit. It's 9 hours, 9 hours or 30 minutes of holding a plank, or it might be 8 hours, 8 or 9. And I was like, okay, because I feel like planks are terribly hard for me. I've never really done planks before. I was like, oh, you just sit there? Okay. I tried doing it for as long as I could. I did it for like 5 or 10 minutes. And that was it. And I was like, God damn it, I can't. Someone did that for 8 hours and 30 minutes. When you kind of jump into it, if you have confidence with it too, you can expect so much. But it takes a lot more to get there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like 8 or 9 hours is honestly crazy, man.
Yeah.
You gotta think also. Have you even think about just sitting in the same spot for
Mm,
8 or 9 hours? You
yeah.
know, like even
Oh.
honestly, even that seems hard in its
Yeah,
own
yeah,
right. Even that seems hard.
yeah.
Not moving, nothing, same spot, man. 8 or 9 hours, 8 or 9 hour road trip. Now
Mm.
imagine that, yeah, like doing a plank. I don't want to think about that. That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's legit, man. That's something.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But eventually you have to kind of think about it. That person put in the work to get there. I'm sure they started off doing 5 to 10 minutes and couldn't do it from there. And after that they started to do it more and more and more and more until they could do that. And yeah, going back to the foundation thing, it's really important to set that first because that is what's going to lead you to the top. That's going to lead you to do incredible things. And same thing with like David Goggins. He said that he weighed way over pounds, like 260 pounds or something, and super heavy guy and couldn't run a mile, and now the dude's running 100. Like it's crazy to see where people come from and where they go from there. It's nuts.
It really is, man. Yeah, I mean, aside from that foundation being what you build everything on top of, it's also I think it's really your anchor also when the process starts getting really hard.
Mm,
Just for example, say, oh, hey, I want to be a content creator. And maybe you find your video niche, whatever it may be. It could be anything, and you're thinking, oh, people are gonna love this. I'm gonna go viral. This is gonna be great. You pump out a few videos, they do pretty well, man. You're like, oh, hey, this is easy. You're getting rewarded instantly for it,
mm,
right? So you don't really see the obstacle yet.
hmm.
Then maybe one video doesn't do so hot. Oh, you're a little stunned. It's whatever.
Yeah.
The next one doesn't do so hot either, and the next one not so hot either, and maybe a few after that too. You start to question: Is this what I want to do? Does this really make sense? And I think when you genuinely start questioning and asking those questions, does this even make sense anymore? You're fucked.
Yeah.
It means your foundation wasn't strong enough, man. And it means your anchor wasn't strong enough because, like what I was saying before, you have to expect these things are going to happen. And also, if you truly believed what you were doing and weren't just doing it just solely for the goal is important. The goal is important. The results are important. But if it was just for that, you're never going to survive those hard times, man. You
Mhm.
have to believe in what you're doing. It has to go further than just any external metric. Same with the gym too. You're doing it just to look good for fucking Sally, over winter break, trying to get in shape for her.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, man. Because at the end of the day, it's still your sweat on your shirt. It's
Yeah.
still you in the gym. She's not there, man. She's not
Mm-mm.
telling you. She's not having an eye on you all the time. Who's gonna get you there all the time? You know. So if that's your core value and your core, motivation or your core drive to get in shape, it's gonna go as quickly as it came because you're gonna realize that I'm not willing to put myself through this much difficulty and uncomfortability
Mhm.
for something so external that I don't even believe in.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And yeah, you kind of have to have your priorities and kind of, you know, visualize on what actually is getting you there. When I started going to the gym, I think everyone kind of falls victim to it a little bit because they start thinking, oh, what is this person gonna think about me? Oh, what do you think my friends are gonna say when I get a six pack or something? Stuff like that. Many people have that. I think almost everyone has that experience because they start to see kind of how recognition may play out. But I think that recognition and especially comparison is what stops 99% of the people because once you start to kind of think about that stuff, yeah, your foundation's gone and you don't really have that discipline and that mindset because it's focused on other things and other aspects and what other people will think. When I started working out, I thought of that stuff too, like oh, I wonder what I'm gonna look like. I wonder how different people are going to think of me, and it can be in many other ways too. Because when I started doing content as well, I was worried about what other people would think of me because I have like family and people that watch my videos and stuff, and I was like, I wonder what they're going to be thinking when I post this and stuff. So thinking of recognition, good or bad, can hold you back a ton.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, going off that also, one of the videos I actually have queued up right now, it really comes down to I don't believe that you should tell people about what you're planning on doing. I
Hmm.
really don't think so. And it's not like one of those real G's move in silence. It's nothing like
Yeah.
that. It's nothing like I don't if that so floats your boat, whatever. What I'm saying is I think when you start verbally sharing big goals, you're almost you're almost robbing the satisfaction out of achieving them before even doing them.
Mm.
You know, you're like
Oh
if I'm
yeah.
telling you, oh hey Jackson, I'm gonna run a marathon, man. You're like, oh yeah, you're a badass, man. That's gonna be so sick. You can do it. You start to feel pretty fucking good. You
Yeah.
know, you start telling more and more people about that. You start feeling really good. You start wondering, should I even run the marathon?
Hmm.
I feel like it's as if you already ran it, man.
Yeah.
And it's with everything, you know. So it's like move in silence for yourself. And this comes back to delayed gratification, right? It always comes back to that. Let the let your results speak for yourself. Let the satisfaction only be derived from your results. Share once you're there. You know, share when you found your momentum, when you found your love for running already, and you're gonna do it no matter what. That's when you should start sharing.
Hmm.
um but yeah, dude, sharing prematurely can rob. Words have a lot of power,
Hmm.
and reaction has a lot of power too. So it's really interesting because now this is kind of on the flip side of I'm afraid to share my goals because of what my friends might think. They might think I'm a fool. They might think
Hmm.
it's impossible for me.
Hmm.
Dude, if they blow too much smoke up your ass too, man, it's as if you've already achieved the goal. You're gonna feel that same way. So if you already feel really good about it, and maybe you didn't believe it enough to do it in the first place, and everyone's telling you that you could do it even though you haven't done it yet, why would you do it?
Yeah.
Why would you do it? Why would you do it, man?
Hmm.
And that's for everything. It's like move in silence, man. Let your actions talk, and sometimes, man, it's good to just keep everything up here.
Yeah.
It really is for yourself, not even for everyone else's sake, but for your own sake. Sometimes the praise, man, it can be just as toxic as all the discouraging comments. So that's why it's like nothing should ever be external. You want to run a marathon? I hope you want to run a marathon because you enjoy running,
Hmm.
or because you hate running so much and you enjoy the fact that you hate running. This is gonna be a
Yeah.
killer accomplishment, whatever it may be, man. If anything is rooted in the external, I mean, it comes as easy as it goes, man. You
Hmm.
know, like you can't depend on rain or shine. None of that.
Yeah.
The internal, your internal vices and values have to be the same through everything. Can't be depending on people's expectations of you, people's congratulations of you, or people negging you too. It's just whatever you believe in, man. If this is what you want to do, if this gives you enjoyment, regardless of who you'll tell down the line, it's like if I run this marathon, would I still run it if I could tell no one about it? If I can't post about it? If I can't if only I knew for the rest of my life that I did this, would I still want to do it? If the answer is
Hmm.
yes, I think you might have some magic on your hands. If the answer is no, you might want to reconsider that motherfucker, man, because
Yeah.
you know, or get comfortable when training gets really hard. I hope you see it through. I
Hmm.
hope you do.
Yeah. Dude, that's spot on completely. Yeah, it's important to, you know, realize what's getting you there, if it's you or others, and what other recognition is going to get you there for. And yeah, it's difficult because it's so hard to kind of be you versus you. And and when you're going against yourself all the time and going through these trials and challenges, you're the only person that can pretty much hold you back, because it depends on your mindset, depends on your physicality, depends on, you know, kind of your reaction to certain things, your emotional control. And you know, everyone has these ambitions and everyone has these different traits that they can improve on. Everyone, no one's perfect, and everyone can improve on so many things. So it's important to pretty much just, you know, kind of realize that you're going to be the person that's going to hold you back, and you got to beat yourself every day, and you got to go against yourself and win battles against yourself. It's tough, and that's what most people are afraid of doing. They don't want to go against themselves because they just want to stay in the comfort without going through those challenges. So it's that's where most people stop.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, it really makes me think of that one saying, it's really about the journey, and it's not about the destination.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when I think you really learn the most about yourself. If you made $1 million by yourself, versus getting $1 million in the lottery, you're gonna feel pretty happy with both. But
Yeah.
one happiness might be rooted a little bit deeper than the other.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy, I know, but maybe one will make you feel a little bit better than the other
Yeah.
in the long run, especially. So yeah, I think the whole going against yourself every single day, it's like, sure, it's for the result. And once again, the result is important because that's the whole reason why you're doing it. But don't forget to find value in the everyday, and
Yeah.
don't forget to find value in the things that, and just the challenge itself, even if it
Yeah.
leads nowhere,
Yeah.
and just doing it. And it's exhilarating. I think that's what really makes you feel the most alive, proving yourself wrong or proving yourself right, depending on how you're seeing it. But getting out there and experiencing that life for yourself, and not just reading about it all the time, not watching all the way through videos, but really just
Mm-hmm.
going out there and getting your own hands dirty. That's where all the value and fulfillment comes from. I think that's the most valuable fucking thing in the world, dude. And once you actually achieve what you achieve because you believed in the process, the achievement itself is just the trophy on top. You
Yeah.
know, it's the medal at the end of the marathon, but you fucking ran it, the
Yeah.
whole race. Man. And at that point, I think the praise is really just, it's the cherry on top, man. It's a pat on the back. You didn't really need that at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess it depends what you're looking to work towards, anyways, because that might be an overgeneralization.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, just you got to enjoy the day by day. You really have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, you know, going to the gym and doing all this stuff, making videos and such, you know, some days I hate doing it because I'm tired, I have all these excuses. I'm just tired, like for the gym, I used to wake up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym. I hated it because, everyone wants that little extra hour of sleep, and I hated it. I hated waking up at that time. I hated doing the stuff, but I loved it at the same time. And I loved doing it because I knew deep down that I was putting myself in hell, that I was putting myself through something. And I think that, a lot of people have this saying of like, what do you think the meaning of life is? And I think it's different for every single person because everyone has, their own kind of meaning in a way. And, for me, why I do the stuff I do is I just like to think and I like to know that I'm actually trying. I'm actually fucking trying. I'm actually trying to put myself out there to go do something. And a lot of people need to kind of try that because if they know that they're trying deep down, that they know that they're trying, they know that they're putting in effort, they know that they're putting in pretty much 100%, then they're going to be proud. So much, they're going to be so proud of themselves. And once that reward comes, sure, like you said, it's a pat on the back, but you're proud of yourself because you put yourself through those challenges to get there. So it's important to kind of embrace the journey, really, to appreciate every moment, every single challenge that you go through.
It really is. No, it really is, man. Yeah, I mean, I personally think the only thing we ever really have is the effort that we choose to give.
Hmm.
Failures are temporary. Any kind of success is also temporary. That's why, that makes me think of, it makes me think of the high school athlete
Mm.
that still talks about the homecoming game, right? So yeah, it was an achievement back then, hey, but it's 10 years later, man. Whatever it may be, that achievement was temporary.
Yeah.
Just like me failing yesterday is different than me still choosing to go after it today, over and over and over. The second you decide to keep getting back after it is the second the failure becomes temporary.
Hmm.
If you stay down, that's when it becomes permanent, right?
Yeah.
Either way, both opposite sides of the spectrum, I really do believe, are both fleeting. It's not going to last forever. No achievement is gonna. I don't think is gonna carry you to the rest of your life. It shouldn't. It's about what you do every single day. Maybe you're the guy that has like the greatest physique ever, and people recognize you for that. But if you're not giving effort to it every single day, not only will it perish because you're not nurturing it, but also, what do you learn from that?
Yeah.
You know, and what's the one thing that you're guaranteed every single day? It's not success. You're not guaranteed to succeed. You're not guaranteed to fail. You're guaranteed to give effort, though, if you want.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing we can control, and that's the only thing, man, that's permanent. It's the effort we choose to give in anything.
Hmm.
So I think it's important just not to be disheartened by failure, and it's also important not to let any kind of success get to your head, because all those things are temporary, man. Like we were talking about before, it's about the person that got there.
Yeah.
It's about the person that got up after failing. It's a person that achieved what he or she was looking to achieve. And most importantly, it's just about what you choose to give every single day. That's what defines you, man. You're not defined by any previous or current accomplishment. It's not who you are, it's what you have. It's what you've earned, right?
Hmm.
And you earn that by giving effort.
Yeah.
And that's something that you earn every single day, giving effort every single day. That's all you have, man. It's the only thing that won't perish.
Hmm. Yeah. 100%. It's important because a lot of people just need to kind of put in that effort. That's the only way they can prove to themselves that they're actually doing something out there, you know. Why do you think why do you think a lot of people don't try though? Why do you think a lot of people don't want to put in that effort, don't do it?
I think a lot of it, I think my answer would differ depending on exactly what the objective was
Mm,
for the person. But I think generally, one, it's afraid of failure, and two, it's the fear of the long con,
mm,
you know, and that's kind of why people quit when the first 5 videos don't blow up. So why people quit after 2 months when they've only lost like 5 pounds, and they feel like the effort to reward ratio wasn't worth it when the clay is just getting warm at that time and you're just getting into momentum. You're just finding your groove, and the rest is gonna go. You're about to take off, man, but you quit right at the stop there.
mhm,
Um, I think not being able to see that everything worth having is a long con, and that it's gonna take time, or maybe fear that it's gonna take a long time and you're afraid you won't be able to hold on for that long. Or just failing in general, people making fun of you, disappointing in yourself. And I think just innately being afraid to fail overall.
yeah.
There was there was this quote from the show that I used to watch. It was a show about fighters, and I'm not a fighter, so I know nothing about this, but nor am I encouraging what I'm about to say at all whatsoever. But there was a line the guy said that most guys are afraid of getting into fights because they don't want to know if they're the prey or the predator.
Mm,
Like, if you're the dog in life, and I don't remember exactly how it went, but people are afraid that if they do it, they're afraid that, oh, like, am I the one that doesn't come out of this?
mhm,
That comes up short. Am I the weaker person here?
mhm.
And it's like, sure, once again, it's a metaphor. Like, it's not about going out and just like throwing hands over everyone to see if you have what it
Yeah.
takes. It's nothing like that. But it's like how it can be scary to feel like sometimes you don't want to know.
Mhm,
You just don't want to know, man. And um, this really leads back to what we're talking about, just benching the bar.
mhm.
You have to get over that, because in order to get to a plate, get to two plates, get to three plates, whatever, you can't be afraid of starting at the bar first. You have to be able to know that, like, whether you are or aren't that guy, it's temporary. You can fix that the next day by just showing up and giving more effort and trying harder and harder and harder. But I could see how that deep fear of failure and deep fear of maybe proving to yourself that you were right all along, that I am a fuck up, that I can't do it, that's a hard thing to grapple with,
Mhm.
you know? And I'm not going to pretend like that's an easy thing to grapple with, because I mean, I have those days all the time still too. Am I really the person who I think I am?
Mhm.
And sometimes you're afraid to put yourself out there because you're afraid you're going to confirm your bias. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am a fuck up. But at the end of the day, that's the one thing that you can't be afraid of the most. You have to find out. You have to find out, and you have to know that even if you do fuck up and you maybe prove to yourself that you are in that day, it doesn't mean that tomorrow is guaranteed to have the same result.
Yeah.
As long as you keep showing up, man, you continuously give yourself the power to change the outcome. But if you stop there, that's when the failure is permanent, right?
Mm.
I think those are the two biggest mental blocks, man. One is just being afraid that you're not going to last the whole way, and that it's going to take more than 1 week. Oh wow, shocker! It might take more than a week. Being able to commit and hold on. And the other one is just being afraid of proving yourself right, that you don't have what it takes.
Mhm. Yeah. That's completely, yeah, completely. And I really, really hope that more people will kind of get out of that because that's why so many people don't pursue what they want to pursue. Don't don't pursue their dreams and make them into a reality is because they're so afraid about going through it and going through, the challenges of it. Recently on a video of mine that I posted, did fairly well on YouTube, got like 1.2K, which is pretty solid for me because I'm new to this stuff. And
Good,
and
man.
yeah,
That's
and
really good.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and I saw some comments on there that were hating on it. And for me, I kind of like it because it's like all right, I kind of know that I kind of know I'm doing something right here a little bit. But the hate comment that I got, I kind of took me a little bit to kind of understand what I was kind of feeling or kind of looking at because I'm trying to remember what the person said, but I think they said that oh, why does this person post all these videos? He's pretty much wasting his life, pretty much is what he said. And you know, reading that, it kind of hit me. I was like, damn, okay, am I really posting these videos for nothing? But once I kind of realized it, once I kind of went through it and kind of processed it, I was like, no, because I'm doing this because I want to help other people. I want to help that one person you'll get there, and just kind of, I love doing it. It's a passion of mine. I love doing it. And sure, I would love to help one person, just one person on the planet with anything I do. And if I can help that one person, kind of motivate themselves to maybe start going to the gym or starting to do something that they're passionate about, then that means the whole world. That means the whole world. And me doing that stuff, me just even making the videos, even if it gets 1 or 2 views, I love it because it's something I love doing. And I think a lot of people need to find that and kind of embrace the challenges, embrace the fears of it, because sure, some of them may happen, some of them may not, but that, like you said, that con mindset, that something bad's going to happen all the time, it's really, really not true all the time, because most of the time, sure, you're going to have failures and sure, you're going to have challenges, but that's not going to happen every single day. You're still going to have success with it. You're still going to have happiness doing it.
Hmm. Yeah, and being afraid of that mindset of like failure, the
Hmm.
mindset of being afraid of failure and of being afraid of putting yourself out there because it might happen, so you never start and you never try, will always pale in comparison of the feeling you'll feel down the line for not trying.
Hmm.
That feeling of regret, man, it's an incurable illness,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's nothing you'll be able to do about it at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So fuck it, man. Just pump it out, dude. Hey, like maybe even if you do prove your worst fears right, at least you did it now, and at least you have time to do something about it still.
Hmm.
Whether it's pivoting a little, maybe changing your strategy, or maybe just putting out the same exact thing you've still been doing, and the first few times it's just a chance of probability.
Hmm.
You're not going to succeed every single time. It's never going to happen like that. But it'll always pale in comparison to how you'll feel for never giving yourself the chance to try. And that's something that you will never be able to answer. What if is a question you can never answer. That's a problem you'll never be able to solve. So sometimes the best way to approach something is to really lean into that fear mindset. Not to be afraid to try, but to be afraid of the alternative of not trying.
Hmm.
And that scares the shit out of you a lot
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. You either pay the price of discipline or pay the price of regret. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that's the one.
yeah, and it's important because, I think a lot of us, and this is something I've heard many people say, is that, a lot of us are scared about having regrets on our deathbed and just kind of thinking, damn, I wish I could have done that. Damn, I wish I could have went there. Damn, I wish I could have put in that work or learned this certain thing. you know, if you want to do something, just do it because you live literally one life. You can't come back a day. You can't go back in the past unless we have time machines, which I don't know yet. But you can go back in the past and you know you can't because that day has already went. And you have to live life every single day and just kind of do what you want to do and follow those passions that you want to do. And if you're not, then you have to be kind of ready for that regret that you may face. But live every day without trying to just live every day to the fullest, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the best way to put it, man. In your situation too, with that one video that did well, and the person commenting that too, I can understand how that could also be discouraging.
Mm.
But at the same time, once again, weighing that against the fear of quitting because of that comment, am I going to feel badly worse about reading that comment, or am I going to feel worse about quitting on myself and having to answer the question of what if? Something that the person who wrote that comment doesn't answer. Know? So he's almost taking all of the burden and putting it on you,
Yeah.
and up to you to decide if you want to keep going or not, because he doesn't have to deal with any of the shit. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to deal with any of the. It's all on you, man.
Hmm.
So when you frame it's, I think a lot of this and making things easier for anyone looking to start any journey is really just, small pivots in framing, how you see things, man. It's really your perception of your reality really is just your reality. So you could see that comment as, oh no, this is exactly what my internal voice has been saying the whole time. He's right. I am a fuck up. I am a failure. Or you can look at it the other way. This is just a pissed off guy that had nothing better to do than to talk some shit,
Yeah.
over a fucking screen, by the way. I could go on about that too. And he doesn't have to bear any of the burden of the regret I'll feel if I quit based off his comment.
Mm.
At that point, I think it becomes pretty non-negotiable and pretty easy to decide how you want to proceed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Completely. Yeah. I totally agree. Well, Andrew, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, my friend. And I want to give you one last message to the people here. If you want to shout out your socials or anything, for free.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I really appreciate
Appreciate
it. The conversation, I love talking about
it.
this
Oh, I
kind of
love
stuff.
it.
So this is just, yeah, it's been a great way to spend Sunday afternoon, man. Um, yeah, I mean, the main social right now is really just Instagram. It's just at andrewjqi, and it's just J and QI. Um, if there's one message I could say, man, it's just I want to bring it back to the only thing we have is the effort we choose to give each day. Work hard and be brave, man. I think those two things are the formula for anything that you want in your life, because working hard, we're controlling what we can, right? We control the energy that we're choosing to give to anything that we want in our lives. And being brave is really overcoming those obstacles that sometimes we can't control. So if you can overcome the obstacles you can't control and combine that with working hard and doing things that you can control, what's in your way?
Hmm.
How can you be stopped?
Yeah.
Those two things, man. Don't be afraid to try, um and don't be afraid to try hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Completely, man. I totally agree. And yeah, to the people, yeah, just follow that passion of yours and just put in the work and go through the challenges of it completely. Andrew, has been a pleasure, and make sure you guys go follow him, go check him out for sure. Really good content from his end, and Andrew, an absolute pleasure. Nice speaking with you, man.
Pleasure's all mine, man. Thank you so much.
We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace, guys.